Namaskaram everyone. Now, during the day, let's say you are working, you're going to office, you're working, or you're working at home, right? A lot of household chores. By evening, what happens is that you're tired. So let's say even when you're working just on the computer, you're not doing too much of physical activity, you're sitting and you're working on the computer. Even then, by evening, you feel so tired. Not physical activity at all, but you're doing a lot of mental activity. Or maybe you're just bored. Even then, you're tired by evening. Have you felt this scenario in your view? Right. Now, I want you to do an experiment. The experiment is very simple. When you feel tired in the evening, do yoga for 20 minutes. Don't do any complex yoga. Don't do the jumping around, power yoga, vinyasa yoga. Don't do all of that. Do simple exercises. Like for example, 2 forward bend, Paschimottanasana, Janushirshasana, those kind of simple poses. Back bend, 2 forward bend, 2 back bend. You take the cobra pose or Shalabhasana or Dhanurasana. Okay, side twist. Like for example, Ardha Matsyendrasana. And then some leg stretches like Samakonasana, right? So do a few of these exercises, but hold the pose for let's say 1 minute plus. Each pose you are holding it for 1 minute plus. Then after each pose you do Shavasana for around 1 minute. Right? Do it for 20 minutes and I want you to check what your energy levels are after this. Okay, so even though you're mentally really tired, you're physically really tired, you just do this for 20 minutes, you will feel totally energetic. Okay, so this is an experiment I want all of you to do. Only then you will understand, right, the benefits. So today what I wanted to talk about is the benefits of doing asanas. And what are the benefits of doing these asanas? You are twisting yourself into all these crazy poses. What is the benefit? You know that, okay, there is some benefit, but what are the tangible benefits of these asanas? Right? So when we stretch our body in these asanas or poses, what happens is that it lubricates. First thing is that it lubricates your muscles, ligaments, joints. That's the first thing, right? Then you have the spinal cord or the spinal column. The spinal column houses a lot of nerve endings. Okay, a lot of nerves goes through the spinal column. Now, when the flexibility of the spine is maintained or the flexibility of the spine is increased, these energy channels can actually allow energy to flow through much better. When you talk about nerves, the nerves are getting more blood, the nerves are getting more nutrients when it is more flexible. Okay. We call our prana. Prana is the energy which is moving through your system, and prana moves through nadis. Nadis are not exactly nerves, but you can't even see the nadis. These are just energy channels. The same thing happens with nadis. So when we do these asanas, these nadis are all purified and it allows proper energy to traverse through these nadis. So these are some of the benefits. And we always keep saying that you are as old as you are flexible. Your physical age depends on your flexibility. Right? So even if you're, let's say, 50 or 60, if your spine is flexible, you are still physically young. Or if you are, let's say, 25, if your spine is not too flexible, you are physically probably 50 plus, right? Physically. And this happens. All these youngsters, they might be 25, 26, but physically they become older and older much faster, because their flexibility of the spine is very low. Now, another part is that each asana, when we are doing, it focuses on your endocrine system also. So you have your endocrine system. Endocrine system has got lots of glands, and these glands secrete hormones. So all these hormones are optimized when you're doing these poses. Like for example, Matsyasana, Sarvangasana, Halasana. When you're doing these poses, what is happening is that it is having an effect on your thyroid gland. This is one example. So when the thyroid gland is properly enhanced or optimized, what happens? Right? It balances the hormones from the thyroid. Right? So this is why some people, they have got issues with thyroid. So either the thyroid starts secreting more. When it starts secreting more, what happens? You become too agitated, energetic, extra energetic, and you become too slim also. Right? You are agitated and also you become too slim. Now, if the thyroid doesn't produce enough hormones, what happens? You become pop, 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 pop. Right? So that is also bad. So it has to be optimized. So when you are doing these exercises like Sarvangasana, like Halasana, these hormones are balanced. So you are in optimal shape. The same thing with the good feel hormones. Right? So when you are doing Shirshasana, when those kind of exercises when you're doing, okay, it improves the good feel hormones like serotonin, oxytocin, melatonin, right, dopamine, all these good feel hormones. And melatonin is actually very important for sleep. Right? If it is not secreting properly, you cannot get good sleep. Right? So it is done by the pineal gland. So when you do things like Shirshasana, right, all these hormones are balanced and optimized. So all these benefits are there when we are doing these asanas. So I want you to evaluate this, experiment with these. Right? So any ailment you have, things like high blood pressure, diabetes, all these ailments can be cured with proper practice of yoga. There are set of exercises when you are doing, okay, you can fix these ailments. These are all lifestyle ailments. Okay, there are some ailments which you can't fix with yoga, but we'll discuss that. For example, if you have type 1 diabetes, it is very difficult, but you can manage the condition. Huh? Type 1 diabetes is difficult, but you still can manage the condition with yoga. But type 2 diabetes, 100% you can cure with yoga. High blood pressure, you can 100% cure with yoga. Okay, fatty liver issues, you can 100% cure with yoga. So there are so many of these issues we can fix with this yoga. Now, all of you understand this to some level for sure. This class or this discussion, this satsang is not for you. This discussion is for your friends and your family. Right? You are sitting here in the morning listening to this because you already know it. Right? But your family members, it's very difficult to get them to do any asanas. Sony is looking very seriously. Yeah, I understand. Right? Yeah. Same thing, I have the same problem, right? With our family members, it is very difficult to get them to do this. But when you explain to them the benefits you're going to get out of doing these asanas, then definitely they will start doing. So don't tell them to do for 1 hour. Tell them to do for 15 minutes. Tell them to do for 20 minutes. Right? That is how you slowly get them in. Yeah. Once they start realizing, okay, after doing this asanas, they're feeling energetic. Then they will start continuing the practice. Otherwise, if you give them power yoga in the beginning, they'll say, oh, this pain, that pain. No, yoga is not good. Right? So don't start with power yoga with people who are not interested in yoga. Start with a little bit of, stretching exercise, asanas. Start with that. Asanas with Shavasana. Shavasana they will like anyway, right? Everybody likes Shavasana. It's asana and Shavasana. Start with that, and slowly. It's like slow poisoning, right? Slowly get them involved.